You're welcome again to Sweet Susan Fashion and Crafts Academy, online academy and YouTube channel. Good to have you. I want to say welcome to my returning subscribers and to those first timers. I really appreciate you joining us today. Today we want to learn how to make a Zarah cap, and these are the things we need: bridal satin, matching color of thread, long needle, pair of scissors, gum, marco, which can be replaced with tailoring wording, and soft gum stain. If you have all this, you will be able to create your own Zarah cap. So let's go to class now, and first thing first, we need to get the measurements. When you have the right measurements, your job will come out very well. So we want to measure the Zarah base. The Zarah base, just like the turban base, we also have the Zarah cap base. So and this is a non-stretchy fabric. You can use non-stretchy fabric for Zarah. So from your length for the Zarah base is 27 inches by 18 inches. Measure out 27 by 18. Then measure out your marco 3 inches by 20. 3 inches by 20. You can make it 3 inches by 18 if you don't have enough marco, but stick with 3 inches by 20. Now your soft gum stay, measure out we want to talk about the bows now. The soft gum stay is what you use to stiffen your fabric and make it stay well. You can do without it, it's not compulsory, but if you put your soft gum stay, you will have a beautiful finishing. And now this is the measurement for the bow. The bow tie 6 by 6, the big bow 20 by 14, the small bow 17 by 12. I repeat, big bow 20 by 14, the small bow 17 by 12. So measure the same quantity of soft gum stay as what you measured out for your bows. And now your bow, the tying at the middle of the bows, you use 6 by 6. So 6 by 6. Your bows, I repeat, 20 by 14 for the big one, 17 by 12 for the small one. Now get your iron and iron your soft gum stay on each of the cut out pieces for the bow. Now when you are ironing, this stay comes in two faces, the rough and the smooth. There is a shiny portion. That shiny part is what will face the wrong side of your fabric. Place the shiny portion of your gum stay to meet with the rough and wrong side of your fabric and iron. Do the same for the small one. And as you do it, when you turn it to the other side, you could notice some roughness. What you would do is that sprinkle some water and sprinkle and smoothen it with your iron. This kind of job is better done with steam iron, but if you don't have steam iron, you can use normal iron, but also in addition with a sprinkling with water. So iron it smooth and let it come out well. Then go over to your sewing machine and sew. Note, if you don't have sewing machine, don't be afraid. Use your needle and thread and you still come out with a good Zarah cap. Now this is a Zarah base. Fold it into 2 equal parts and notch the center. Notch the center of your Zarah base. Then still notch the center of your marco or wording. If you are going to be using wording, then it should be the thick wording. So when you have notched the center of your Zarah base along the part that is 27 inches, not the 18. The 27 inches part is where you notch the center. Place center to center and fold up with like 1 inch. Can you see what I'm doing? Fold up with like 1 inch. When you folded it up with like 1 inch, you fold again. We are just doing a rehearsal here. You have not started to sew. So when you are ready, turn it back again. Fold it 1 inch inwards and use your gum to gum it. Now watch the way I am using this gum. If you don't have gum, no need to panic. Instead of gum, you can cover your marco temporarily with office pin. It will still give you the same thing. But if you have this E8000 gum, it's always better. The work of the gum is to stick your fabric to the marco. If you don't have gum, don't worry. Just wrap your fabric with your marco with fabric like that. But you will need to use office pins to keep your wrap in place. So that is me using my gum, and I'm not putting the gum on the fabric, I'm putting the gum on the marco. I'm putting the gum on the marco in order that I could do a neat wrapping. So after adding gum to the marco on that edge, roll up 1 inch and use it to cover your marco. Just watch what I'm doing. Yes, when you are, because there is gum there, once you place the fabric, it sticks together. Now use your hand to smoothen it. Use your hand to smoothen it. Then wrap again. Just watch this video. You will understand what I'm doing. So we've wrapped it. Wrap it in a way that the edge is firm, in a way that your fabric doesn't, you don't have looseness at the edge of your cap. You see what I mean? Then use office pin to temporarily pin it down. At this junction, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly hit on that subscription icon, subscribe icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you do, YouTube will honor us, and the algorithm will favor this academy. But if you don't, we'll continue to be little in number. Kindly subscribe, hit on the notification bell so that when I upload videos, you will be notified. also like and share. Now you are going to be stitching not at the very edge of the cap, but where my finger is now. That's where you are going to just run a tiny stitch, and your stitching is from where your marco. You can decide to start it from the beginning, and stitch. Please don't stitch on the marco. You could have problem with your machine needle. Just take your presser foot a little away from the marco, and when you are using needle and thread, follow through, stitch that place, stitch it in a way that what you wrapped is firm. You can see that as I stitch, I smoothen it with my hand. I stitch, I smoothen it with my hand. I'm trying to make sure that what I wrapped with the marco, I wrapped with the fabric, it's well seated and there are no excess fabric, both along the edge and also where I'm stitching. Stitch to the end, stitch to the end, and double stitch, back stitch, so that your stitches will not start to get loosened. I'm done stitching, and then after you've stitched, if you notice any roughness, like this, take it to your iron and iron it smoothly. Remember, we folded the marco, we wrapped the marco around the fabric on the wrong side. The stitching I just finished to do now was not on the right side of the satin fabric, but on the wrong side. So turn it to the right side and give it a good press. Give it a good press before you continue your stitching. After you've ironed, which I did here behind camera, I've gotten back after ironing. Then fold your Zarah base into two. Fold it into two. We want to do the side of the back stitching now. Fold it into two equal parts, and you are going to be stitching on the wrong side. You are going to be stitching on the wrong side. When you are folding into two, make sure that your lines align. Your lines align together. Having folded into two equal parts, take your tape and measure. Now remember what the fabric we're using is a non-stretchy fabric, and so we need to have something longer than the usual 10.5, 11 that we normally have, so that the cap will not be too small on the head of your client. You are going to be using 12 inches. So when you have gotten 12 inches, you mark. Can you see the way I marked it? You are going to have some excess 1.5 inch for your seam. So mark it this way. From that edge to where I'm placing that marker is 4 inches. Please don't go and make your semicircle on that folded part that is the apex. Just follow this diagram here. Mark your semicircle this way, and where I marked, stitch it. Take it to your machine or your needle and thread and use it to stitch. This time you are not stitching on the marco. You are not stitching on the marco. The marco should give you unfold 10 inches while you are stitching on 12 inches. The marco should give you between 9 and 10 inches unfold, while where you are stitching now is 12 inches. You're stitching on your 12 inches and you're going to make an arc like this. Can you see? Yes, we have finished our turban base, at least to an extent. Cut out all excesses, then take to your weaving machine and weave. If you don't have a weaving machine, you should get your zigzag scissors and use it to cut your excess seam line. At this point, we are reminding you again to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. That is one way you're using to help our online class. Please subscribe. It's actually for your own good, because contents are dropping every time on this platform, on this channel. You will really gain a lot. Week after week we drop video tutorials on our YouTube channel. And if you are also in our online class, make sure that you like and comment, and you also do your assignments. It's for your own good. Having sewn along the marked line, thread your needle and with double thread, so because you want it to be tight, then make loose stitches like I'm doing along the edge of your turban base that you just finished sewing, along the seam. Make running stitches. Running stitches are just another name for it is gather stitches, loose stitches, stitches that are not tight. And actually, needle and thread is best for this aspect of the turban making. You can use your sewing machine to run gather stitch, but I actually prefer using needle and thread to make my loose gathers, whether it's on turban or on Zarah cap. Now you can do that another time. Make it like twice, at least to be double sure. Turn it inside out, and what do we have? The Zarah cap base. This is very, very beautiful. It's already coming out nicely, and I'm actually very happy. So that back of the Zarah cap needs to be covered with an accessory. Remember, we are making two bows concept is what we have. This is a bigger one. Now the next thing you do, remember you have stiffened your bow with soft gum stay. Fold it into two like I just did. Along the 14 inches, fold it into two and stitch along the 20 inches. That's when you run your stitch. When you are finished sewing, turn it turn it inside out. Turn it inside out. You have something like this. Now make sure that you don't leave your that portion where you sewed at the edge. No, take it to the middle. Take it to the middle. That's what will give you a good finishing. Then take that which you have to the ironing board and give it a nice press. Do the same thing you did with the bigger bowl to the smaller bowl. Iron, and this is what you're going to be having. The next thing you will do now is that on that, let that side where your line of sewing is, let it face you. Fold into two and stitch along that width, along your width. Fold into two and stitch. When you folded into two, turn it this way. After stitching, turn it this way. You will have something like this. Do the same thing to the other side. If you still need to iron a little, do that. So having done this, we are almost done with the making of our 2 bows. You could go ahead and even make up to 3 bows. It depends on you. So you can see me working on the smaller bow, doing the same thing I did with the bigger one. I'm turning it inside out, having sewn it at the center. Then after that, I take it to the iron and give it a good press. So we have 2 sizes of bows. Some persons can decide to have same size for the 2 bows. It's still okay. Just depends on your styling and what you prefer. So now place the smaller one on the bigger one, center to center. Then fold it in this way as you are seeing me do. Just look at the video, you would understand. Fold it, having placed the smaller one on the bigger one. Then get your needle and thread, stitch it at the center. Make sure you don't miss that center. Let the stitching be done at the center. Now you notice that my bows are looking stiff. It's because I used a strong gum stay. I ironed a stronger gum stay. It's quite difficult. It was now very difficult for me to use needle and thread, even though after the entire process it looked very beautiful, but you as a beginner might not be able to handle this aspect. That's why I said it's just good that you use soft gum stay. If you can't get soft gum stay, you should be able to get what we call paper stay. That will still give you a good accessory. So at the center, stitch with needle and thread, just as you can see me doing. Can't you see the way I'm struggling to pass the needle through the middle of the 2 bows? I actually placed the 2 bows together and folded them all at once. Can you see what we have? If this fabric was a little bit softer, I could have been able to separate the 2 bows. It's still possible. You make 1 bow and put it on top another. You can still do it that way. I haven't gotten my bow. Remember my tie, which is 6 by 6. 6 by 6. So Fold the tie into two, the fabric you're using for tie, and stitch just the same way you did for the bows. Stitch it, and having stitched, cut off your excess thread. Take it inside out. Take it inside out. After taking that inside out, you get it to the iron and give it a good press. Subscribe to this channel, Sweet Susan Fashion and Craft. We need all the support from our creatives. We need all the support. Now, can you see? You wrap the center with that tie, but make sure that you wrap it in a way that the line of joining is hidden. Always endeavor to have good finishing. Then after that, you stitch your tie. Can you see? Stitch it at that end neatly. I couldn't use my sewing machine this time. I had to use needle and thread to do a stitching. So cut off that side, give it a neat cut with your zigzag scissors. Now place what you have on that back of your Zarah, center to center. Don't allow your bow to be one-sided. Endeavor to centralize your bow. Let the center of the bow align with the center of the cap. First of all, before you start stitching, use pins to temporarily put your bow in place. Temporarily use the pins to put it in place, as I'm saying, as I'm doing here. Then just get creative this time. Fix it very well. Then get your needle and thread and tack. Get your needle and thread and tack the bow to the Zarah very neatly. Use your needle and thread, because actually you might not be able to handle this with the sewing machine. Stitch your bow to your cap. You could decide to allow it to float your bow. You can decide to stick it to the cap. Depends on you and what you're comfortable with. So that's me stitching my bow to my cap. In stitching, start from the back, not the front. Stitch it neatly and always endeavor to do a neat job. This is Sweet Susan Fashion and Craft Academy YouTube channel / online class. We are inviting you to join this community of learners and improve yourself, add value to yourself, get something to do with your mind and your hands. The more you are valuable, the more you are the richer you become. You can add value, you can empower others, you can impact others when you yourself is impacted. Someone actually says that one of the greatest room in life is the room of personal development. Keep developing yourself. Don't be satisfied where you are. So before tacking, use your pins to to align your bows to your Zarah cap. You can see I'm just trying to get that done now. Here I'm trying to decide on what to do, and I made that decision of not of allowing the bow to float and not to stick it to the mako. However, I did a strong stitching at the back then, and go ahead and just use your creativity. Stick the bow to the cap. Subscribe to our channel, send the link to others, share, comment, ask questions, and then we'll get back to you. I promise getting back to you as soon as we see your comments in the comment section. Share the link with your friends and loved ones, and as many people that you know would be interested in what we are doing. Yes, we'll continue to stitch, and tack our bow to the Zarah. When we are done doing this, you can embellish with any embellishing that you have, just to add some beauty to it. I decided to use some gold trimming on mine, and it came out very beautiful. You don't change up, you don't change up. Everything has changed, you don't change up. In the name of Jesus, I can never be the same again. I can never be the same again. Oh, God for me. I know I'm sorry, I know feed.